What's up everybody, Daryl here again. Today I want to make a video on the tomato greenhouse because I am excited and also sad to say that most of the plants have already produced and most of them have died. So I am pretty much removing it. So yeah, I am pretty happy about the production from the tomatoes. For the small amount of area that I have the tomatoes to grow, it produced quite a lot for that small little area. And even this week I got around 8 kilos of tomatoes, this being the last harvest before me pretty much chopping everything up and fixing everything up. It's quite a lot of tomatoes that we're pretty much getting out every week. I mostly harvest once a week, but sometimes twice a week, depending on the crop and how much they produce. So without further ado, let's go to the tomato greenhouse. But before we begin, let's get a small snack. Best part of being a farmer. So yeah, this is the state of the tomato greenhouse right now. Most of them are pretty much dead. There were a lot of major problems in here, but I kept on with it, I kept pushing it. But this last week, it pretty much said no, it's gone. I do still have some tomato plants that are producing at the ends. So I got some few here. Some of the tomato plants in the back have not been really infected with the fungus yet. So I'm going to leave those to keep producing throughout, I think, 2-3 weeks more. But in the meantime, I am going to be removing all these tomato plants. Let's start with the biggest problem that I had with the tomato greenhouse when it started. I used drip tape for this whole greenhouse, and whilst drip tape is not my preferred type of irrigation, right now I am pretty much tearing it all out of my farm. I'm not going to be using drip tape anymore. I'm only going to be using drip emitters that are the high quality tubing that has the drip. So that's why in this case I am removing all the tomatoes. I'm not trying to save them anymore. I'm trying to remove them so that I can switch over to the drip emitters. Because in a few months it's going to get hotter and I don't have enough time to keep every day to come watering. Right now I'm just using a 5-gallon bucket. I water all the plants twice a day, once or twice a day, and that could work sufficient thanks to when December it's not that hot. But right now it's getting hotter and I do not want to come out here once or twice a day to water the plants. And the plants were pretty much struggling at that point already from the inconsistency of watering and also just the blight and the different types of fungus that I was having. So that being problem number one, being irrigations. So I'm going to be tearing that out. The second part being, you can see the leaves of most of the things, they have blight problems on top of it. Like here is not that apparent, but you can also see on the stems. The stems also have this white powder. I do not remember the name of that type of fungus right now, but it's quite vigorous type of fungus and it will just keep attacking. The third problem I had with the tomatoes was that I was getting a lot of spider mite infection. While they are not that big of a problem for me, because the plants grow enough vigorously that it didn't affect them. But once they start getting blight and this other type of fungus killed most of the plants. The last one of the tomato plants, fungus that I got, the third one, was a root one. It was in the ground. Whilst this one I need to go through, that's why I'm going to try to learn how to graft tomatoes, because this type of fungus is a bit trickier to deal with. And this variety of tomatoes that I grow does not have resistance to it. So I am going to try to learn how to graft tomatoes. But for now I'm just going to troubleshoot with other types of ways to make sure that the fungus doesn't grow that vigorously. And this one I find out when I was removing This type of fungus I figured out once I was removing some of the tomatoes. I could see root stalks were pretty much destroyed at the end. So pretty much right now I'm going to be removing all the drip emitters, drip tubes, and rebuilding the irrigation systems so that I can have constant water here. I don't think I'm going to be showing that because I am pretty short on time. So I'm making this video before I remove everything so that you guys can see some of the stuff that could go wrong on a farm. I hope everybody found this interesting, as that showing that not only the goods of the good parts of the farm, but also the negative parts of the farm that sometimes just happen. Because farming, pretty much every time something goes bad, and you learn from it. And showing this on the video, you can probably know in the future that some of the problems that could happen, like in the case of the fungus or something like the irrigation system failing. So yeah, that's pretty much the video. I hope you found this interesting. And yeah, thank you for watching, and peace. Passa um bom dia.